If that's not granted, will aid be stopped? And also, given that Bangladesh is
At the end of the 19th century, Leopold II, King of the Belgians, wanted to make Brussels a glorious and modern capital for the new Belgian nation under construction. Reinforced by the wealth from the colonized Congo, his urban policy combined utopian visions for a modern Brussels and the interests of private developers. By tearing down the old town's perimeter, the city was to be expanded by reinforcing existing historical axes and tracing new arteries. Along these axes, new public and representative buildings, parks and open spaces emphasized the structure of the city's expansion as a national capital. Here exactly, we find a lot of European institutions like the Parlement, the actual building for the European Commission. One of the main extensions of the city was the Leopold-Quarter. Developed in a regular grid structure between the Royal Park and the Parc Cinquantenaire along the axis Rue de la Loi, which remained almost unchanged until the 1940s. From the 1960s to nowadays, the major part of the European institutions were located in the Leopold-Quarter. Their architectural style was eclectical and set itself apart thanks to the use of laminated glass curtain walls and thin natural stone cladding elements. This started giving form to Brussels as a supranational capital. Parking access, fire exits, services, and big halls usually occupied the street level. In the Leopold-Quarter, the impact of these mechanisms is immediately visible. It has been transformed into a homogeneous central business district. How did this supranational capital intertwine with the national capital? Should it be visible in the national axis of power of Rue de la Loi? Through these axes, one cannot see the Parlement, although the only restriction imposed by the city of Brussels on the construction of the Parlement was that its height had to be limited to 55 meters in order not to disturb the visual axis of Rue de la Loi that culminated the Parc Cinquantenaire. Beyond that, the building was built on an existing plot knot, questioning the urban fabric of that area and furthermore shifted back from the facade continuity of Rue de la Loi. Like the Parlement, the supranational capital was put aside from the national capital. On the other hand, seen from the perspective of the secondary streets around the Parlement, the building becomes central. In relation to the small-scale facades of the 19th century houses, the Parlement appears to be imposant, powerful, and covering the background of all perspectives around it. Endless abstract glass facades accentuated with different metal details. The equivalence of the four facades and the neutrality of their expression shows an understanding of the multiplicity that coincides with a heterogeneity of the European identity, while not overimposing it on the national identity. Does the architecture provide a neutral ground for an equal relation to it? Does it suggest and imagine the possibility for a multitude to share a common political consciousness?